You might be a little bit concerned that there isn't an official integration between Post and Klaviyo, but fear not, the unofficial integrations actually work really well. And that's what we're going to cover in today's video. So let's jump into it. Now, the Post Klaviyo integration that I use in my agency is great because it's all done using the built-in third-party script feature in Post, or Neto, as we used to like to call it. And the script contains several features. Firstly, it's installed in the page footer, so it doesn't affect your page load speed. And it contains a bunch of code that executes when someone loads a page. So that fires the site visit event and product page visit event, cart and checkout, etc. There is also some code that fires when someone registers for a new Post user account. There's also some code that fires on the purchase confirmation page. That is pretty much it. So that's very quickly how things work on the Post side. Now we'll see how that translates to the events that get created on the Klaviyo side. So this is the Klaviyo account console for our client Shark Leathers, and a big shout out to Mitch, who kindly agreed to let us use his account so we can show a real life demonstration of how this works. Now, I just want to point out that the percentage of revenue that's coming from flows is 29%, and the overall revenue from Klaviyo is 39%. Now, that's important because we always say to people, if you get automated flows happening in your business, you should be able to achieve at least 15% of your revenue from automated flows. And I use that as a conservative number. The Shark Leathers have really got things dialed in well, so their percentage is really high, but it's not uncommon to be able to achieve 20% of your revenue from flows after you've been working on it for a few months. So now I want to show you how that code that we had installed in the third-party scripts within the Post control panel then causes the events to be logged within Klaviyo. So these are the 6 events that are logged: active on site, viewed product, added product to cart, removed product from cart, started checkout, and placed order. Now, if we go down to our metrics, you can see how often each of these events are being logged. So here's the active on site event, and this is triggered just when somebody first hits the website. So they don't need to go anywhere other than the homepage, but as soon as they do that, this event will be logged for the visitor. And by default, it just shows us the number of times that event's triggered, but we can also filter it by other things such as the UTM. We've got how many people came in via AdWords, how many people came in via Facebook ads, how many people came in through the email marketing itself. So there's lots of different ways we can cut up that data. Let's have a look at the next metric. So this is the viewed product event, and this is when somebody has actually visited a product detail page. And you can see the number of events is just slightly less than the active on site event, but very close. And this is added product to cart. So this is literally, so when somebody has clicked that add to cart button, and you see the numbers now are starting to get lower as people get further down in the funnel. And the next event is started checkout. So once again, we've got fewer people that are being logged as starting checkout. Bearing in mind that it's only people who have signed up for your mailing list that will actually get picked up and pulled into Klaviyo. So they have to have had that cookie dropped onto their computer that they're using at some stage, either by signing up to your mailing list or completing the checkout process before they'll actually end up in your Klaviyo data. And then the last event that I'm interested in is the placed order event. You can see that's triggered a number of times there as well. So now that we've seen how we get all the events from Post into Klaviyo, how do we actually leverage those events into flows that can then send timely follow-up emails to people? So this is where our flows come into play. So we click on flows and we can see then we've got a list of the active flows in this particular account. And I've numbered these so that we can sort of work our way down the funnel. So you can see by far the most profitable flow is one that we call exit intent, which is the flow that people go into when they sign up for your email pop-up. So typically for first-time purchasers, you might offer some sort of a discount off their first order. And those who sign up for that offer then go into this flow. And as you can see, it's the one that generates the most amount of revenue by a long shot, and it has the highest revenue per recipient. So the next flow is the site abandonment flow. So this is the flow that's triggered when people have just visited the site, but they haven't gone any further. So we'll take a quick look at this one. I'll just point out that we have a bunch of filters set on this. So basically, we give people a bit of a chance to get further down the funnel. So we wait 2 hours, and then if they haven't started checkout, haven't placed an order, haven't been in the flow before, haven't added a product to cart or viewed a product, and they're not receiving the emails in the flow to do with signing up through the pop-up, then they'll get this first email here. So at this stage, we don't know what the visitor has looked at. We just know that they have visited the website. And so we send them a little reminder and a sample of products and give them the option to return to the website, provide some other links to help, etc. And then we've got additional emails to follow those people up if none of these conditions are met in the next 22 hours or the next 2 days or the next 2 days after that. And this is where you can leverage some of your content from newsletters that you've sent in the past. Now, people enter this flow based on a trigger, and the trigger is when someone has been active on site. So now let's have a look at our browser abandonment flow. And you might remember that's the one where people have actually visited a product page. And this is where we can start to leverage some of the personalization features within Klaviyo. So the trigger is viewed product. And once again, we're filtering out people if they manage to get further down the funnel. So if they've started checkout, place an order, or if someone has signed up via pop-up in the last 7 days, then we don't include them in this flow. So firstly, what we're doing here is we're testing different follow-up times. So in one side, we've got a wait of 4 hours, and one side, we've got a wait of 2 hours. And we're interested in seeing what the open rates are like, what the click rates are like, to see if one is better than the other. And as you can see, it's fairly even. There's quite a big difference in the click rate, but other than that, it doesn't really seem to be much difference between the two. Now I'm going to show you how we leverage the viewed product event to customize this email. So when we look at this in the editor, you can see this part here isn't populated, but we can preview that with some real data. So the integration between Klaviyo and Maropost allows us to pull in the data containing what the customer was actually looking at. So you can see for that particular person, they were looking at this product here. This person was looking at this product, and here's a different one. The pants are pretty popular. And each of these will automatically contain a link that takes the person back to that product on their website. And we've got a bunch of other emails to follow people up in that particular flow if they don't proceed any further down the funnel. Now let's go to our abandoned cart flow. So there's a difference between abandoned carts and abandoned checkouts. And I've got a couple of videos on my YouTube channel about this, so I won't go into that now. But essentially, if someone has clicked on the add to cart button, then this event or metric added product to cart is triggered. And that's when people enter this flow. So once again, we're waiting 2 hours. We're making sure that they don't proceed any further down with these additional flow filters. Now let's have a look at how this email looks. So once again, we're leveraging the fact that we've got this personalized information for each particular visitor. So we can include the product that they've looked at. We can include the price. Now at this stage, because we've reached the product added to cart event, then we've also got a customized URL that we can insert into this email for that particular person's shopping cart, which is very useful. And as you can see, this email only ever contains one product because added product to cart is a singular event. So let's have a look at the next flow. So next is our abandoned checkout flow. This one is triggered based on the started checkout metric. And just before we get into the edit, I'll just point out the way that we can do the subject line here. So we can personalize the subject line with someone's first name if we know what it is. We can add in preview text. We can split test both of those things if we want to, as well as what's in the copy. So let's have a look at the email. You can see this time, because it's the started checkout event, there may be more than one item in the person's shopping cart at checkout. So we can use a loop to show all of the items. You can see we've got 2 for this person, 2 for this person, and 1 for that person. So what other events can we leverage to be able to send timely and personalized messages to people after they've made their first purchase? Well, that's what we'll have a look at next. So firstly, let's have a look at the custom win-back flow. And this one leverages the placed order event or metric. So with this one, what we're doing is we're waiting 75 days and we've got a single flow filter, which is placed order. If they don't, we're going to send them a little follow-up email. So here's that email. We've just got a header and we're including a dynamic product feed, which shows people what products they might be interested in based on what they've viewed before. Klaviyo has a recommendation engine built into it, and you can add in product blocks based on different metrics. And we do this through a Maropost custom script that creates a JSON feed that Klaviyo can then consume to create our product feed within Klaviyo. So we can configure this product feed in a number of different ways. For this one, we're saying what product should the customers view first is the products the customer may also like based on both their view and purchase history. And if the customer has limited history, we're going to show them both the best-selling and the most viewed products over the last 3 days. And we can also limit that to particular categories if you want to, and you can create multiple feeds if you wanted to use these rules in a few different ways for different purposes. And the final flow that I want to show you, which is one that I've covered on my YouTube channel before, but it's one that everyone should be running, is a Google Business Review flow. So once again, we're leveraging the placed order event. We wait 21 days. We just filter out anyone who has been in this flow before. And here's the email. This is a highly effective email. It doesn't have to have any images. It's just a letter from the CEO or the owner of the business with a signature inviting them to post a review on the Google business page. And what you do is you set it up so that it links directly to your Google business page and opens up the review like so. So that's all for today's video. You should have a pretty good idea of how things hang together between Klaviyo and Maropost, how the events are synchronized between the two platforms, how the product feed gets from Maropost into Klaviyo, and how you can use different flows to leverage all that information to send your customers and your prospects timely and individualized follow-ups and email messages that are tailored especially for them. So I hope you found today's video useful. This goes into a lot more detail about how to set up the Google Business Reviews flow within Klaviyo. So you want to check that one out, and I'll see you in the next one.